Is improving in Kansas, according to a new report. Digital anchor Keith Grant talked with CommCare in Wichita today. Keith, what does CommCare have to say about this recent report?
Well, Rachel, talking with the director of CommCare today, she celebrates this accomplishment, remarking that the state still does have room for improvement, though. So we'll recap that State of Mental Health in America report. Kansas jumped from last to 22nd in overall mental health rankings. For children's mental health, Kansas also saw a significant jump, going from 50th in 2023 to 16th in 2024. Specifically for CommCare, they attribute their ability to get you an appointment either the same day you schedule or the next day.
We know that when the thought to reach out for services happens, when that first phone call or look on a website, that's really at the moment when they are most ready to do that. And so we want to reduce any wait time.
Chantel Westbrook with CommCare there shares that we are still seeing COVID-19 seep into mental health issues, primarily among teenagers.
Keith, thank you.